Gus Van Sant's Sea of Trees was one of the most hyped films coming into this year's Cannes Film Festival. Now that we've seen it, we've got a few thoughts. The story follows the basic premise that Matthew McConaughey, an American man, has travelled all the way to Japan to commit suicide in a forest known as the Sea of Trees. What starts as a mission to end his own life rapidly becomes a mission to save someone else's. He bumps into a man played by Ken Watanabe who slit his wrist some time ago in the forest and hasn't been able to find his way out.
And that premise is executed pretty well. You know, Matthew McConaughey is, as you've come to expect from him, great. He can cry like nobody else, and when he has his emotive scenes, he's really, really believable. And the story plays out at a nice pace, cutting between him and Watanabe in the forest and the before with his wife Naomi Watts and what drove him to want to commit suicide in the first place. And it's all quite well structured.
Yeah, on the surface, it's a pretty good festival film. Like, you're looking at it, it looks like a solid kind of independent concept, something we haven't really seen anywhere else, something that is definitely geared toward a festival audience, but then it just falls apart.
There's some bits early on that feel either a little bit twee or a little bit geared towards the mainstream. And in the final 5 or 10 minutes, you suddenly realise that those bits are laying the groundwork for one of the most shocking moments we're going to have at Cannes this year. And it's bizarre what happens.
You go from having this incredibly serious premise and this extreme build-up, all this backstory, all the current things that are happening in the forest and their attempts to escape, and then, yeah, it just boils down to essentially what is an Adam Sandler film with a serious ending. It's almost insulting that it came from Van Sant the way it ends. Everybody knows he's capable of a lot more. And this is the guy that brought us Milk. He's the guy that brought us Elephant. It makes no sense for him to have done what he's done.
Without going into spoiler territory, the ending is very shocking and it hammers home its point. There's various points where we go, oh, I think this is what's going on. I think this is where he's leading. But then, time and again, you have voiceovers that reiterate it. You have multiple scenes where it's like, oh, this is what the film is about. And what the film is about is actually quite disappointing, but that he has to keep telling you is insulting.
Yeah, it's really ham-fisted. There's no subtlety at all. It kind of hammers the point home, which is fine. You know, hammer the point home once. But then to hammer it home again and again and again, it's just not something you'd really expect from him. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think he's trying to go commercial. I think this film has an eye for, like, sort of maybe, given the reviews, probably not, awards, but...
Do you not think Milk was already commercial enough?
Well, Milk and Good Will Hunting, they were, but this one is almost explicitly aiming towards that. I mean, Lionsgate have picked it up already before it was even press screened for a release, and you know what's going to happen when it hits cinemas. It's going to be a massive hit, even if the critics don't like it.
It's just disappointing, really. Coming into the festival and having this being one of the highlights of what was going to be showing, and having it boiled down to that, I mean, it got booed. It got mercilessly booed in the press screenings.
Both press screenings.
And yeah, both press screenings. Go see the film by all means when it comes out, but it's not what you were expecting, seriously.
So yeah, we may have the first third of Cannes 2015. For more information on all of the films in competition and a few of the ones that aren't, make sure you keep an eye on whatculture.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.